Hey everyone, Anna Hammond's here with Unite Ellis Podcast. Today we're hanging out with Alan. We're talking about Celebrate Recovery, our hurts, our habits, our hangups, and all the things that go with it. So let's get started. All right, Alan, thanks so much for coming.
My
pleasure.
pleasure.
Let's get started with you telling us your background, how you got here, what you do, what your everyday looks like.
Well, how I got here is pretty interesting. So I was a lead pastor in northeast Arkansas, 8.5 hours away. All of my family lived in this area.
Jonesboro area?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I lived there
ASU.
for a little bit.
All right,
Yeah.
so I was up there, lead pastor, and going through a pretty difficult season.
Okay.
Anyway, I had gone to a furniture store. The church sent me to get new furniture for my office.
Okay.
And so I go into a furniture store, I buy some furniture, and I go out to my car to go home, and my phone rings. And it was David Brown, the pastor of the Avenue at the time. He called and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, I just bought some furniture. I just bought some furniture. And he says, "Well, hey, I got something to propose to you." I said, "All right, lay it on me." Because I'd already turned him down for a job like 2 years earlier.
Okay.
And I was like, he wrote me off for like ever.
Yeah.
And so he told me, he said, we're reaching some unchurched people that are broken.
Okay.
And would you have any desire to come and work with these people?
Okay.
I said, "I'll be there in 2 weeks."
No.
I went back into the store, and I said, "All that furniture I just bought, cancel it. Cancel it." And I went in, got with my wife and said, "Hey, we're moving back to Texas." And I came. I've been here in Waxahachie at the Avenue for 13 and a half years, and it's been the best gig I've ever had.
Wow.
Absolutely, hands down.
And your wife was just okay with the
absolutely.
impromptu.
She got closer to home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So she was looking forward to
We're
coming
getting back
here.
to our kids, and so
That's
it was
great.
good, but honestly, it was the best decision probably I've ever made.
So when he's saying we have some people that, we want to were people coming in already, or was the plan to say we want to go out to people? Like, what was going on at that time that prompted that call?
Well, the vision of the church that David cast was to reach unchurched people or people far from God.
Okay.
And they were doing that.
Right.
And they were reaching some people who had some tough issues going on in their life. And once they came, it was like, so what do we do with them?
Yeah.
We don't know where to point them and what to do.
Right.
And so he said, "That's your deal." Because I had gone through recovery in 2005 personally. And so very familiar with it. I also had a family member that made some choices back in 1996 and went to prison. And when they got out of prison, the church just kind of, pushed them off.
Yeah.
And so I prayed for an opportunity where I could be part of the solution, not part of the problem. I could give back. And so, so cool. It landed the dream job. Love it.
Awesome.
Absolutely love it.
So in your recovery journey, was it with Celebrate Recovery? You went through it yourself?
Yes.
And then when you came to the Avenue, did you know, like, okay, this is going to be Celebrate Recovery, or was that kind of decided?
No, that was a journey.
Okay.
I took my time to get this established, and I wasn't sure what direction I wanted to go. I knew that Celebrate Recovery had worked for me, but I wanted to make sure I landed on the right thing.
Yeah.
So I would say the first 6 months, I traveled all over Texas, Oklahoma, just trying to figure out what other churches were doing, what they were using.
That's cool.
And I just went back. Celebrate Recovery works. Why reinvent the wheel?
Right.
And so I went with it, and it's
so
been good.
I love it. Okay, so let's break down Celebrate Recovery for those that don't know about it. Yeah. I know some might think, oh, okay, that's for a specific thing, but it's not. Like, it's not just alcohol. So kind of anybody coming in, what kind of hang-ups or anything that are you seeing that people come in for?
One of the biggest misconceptions I have is most people, when they hear Celebrate Recovery, they think of chemical addictions, alcohol, drug addiction.
Yeah.
But Celebrate Recovery is for any hurt, habit, or hang-up. And so anybody that's struggling with any of life's struggles. It can be mental health, it can be sexual integrity, it can be drugs or alcohol, or it may be anger. We've got a group for anger. And so it's just a broad spectrum of issues. Everybody.
So, I mean, we're
all broken.
Yeah.
And so,
That's great. Yeah. Okay. And so break down kind of how it works, the 12-step side, the large group stuff, how all that works.
There are 3 groups with Celebrate Recovery. On Monday, we have Waxahachie. It starts at 7. Ennis, we meet at 6:30 on Thursdays. It starts out, the meeting starts with what we call large group, which is co-ed, men and women. We come in, and 2 weeks out of the month, I'll do a lesson. And then one is a recovery story from one of my participants. And then one night's just straight up celebration because it takes a fighter to get sober and to be clean and in recovery. So we celebrate that.
Yeah.
So the first hour that you come in at 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock is either a lesson or a testimony, story, or celebration. At that point, we break out into what we call open share groups, which are gender specific and as issue specific as we can make them. And so on the women's side, in Waxahachie, I think we have 6 groups that range from women's issues, which kind of collects those that may not fit with other groups.
Like not have a standalone
group.
It's
just a kind of a buffet of mixed issues. But then we have one for domestic violence. We have one for codependency. We've got one for chemical and drug addiction. And then we've got one for mental health. And so they can choose which one that they may be struggling with. But again, they may go to that group for a while and go, my problem is not mental health. My problem is I'm codependent or whatever. And they can always switch because they're open share groups. On the men's side, we have 5 groups, and it's chemical addiction. We have an anger group. We have a men's sexual integrity group. We've got what we call Welcome Home, which is for those veterans who are re-entering civilian life. It gives them support. And then we've got another one for men's issues. And so it's pretty well-rounded. And
that's really neat.
And the good thing is it's open share, so they can come anytime. There's not a start date or an end date. They can come wherever. And so those are the big things that are happening on Monday and Thursday are large group, open share groups. But then there's another component, another group that is really the traction in our recovery. And that's what we call 12-step groups. Those are gender specific, not issue specific, but gender specific. There are 4 books that they work through. Everybody that comes into recovery knows the what. We know what we're struggling with. Sometimes we don't know the why. And so the purpose of these 12-step groups is to bore down and figure out, why am I acting out? Why am I self-medicating or whatever? Why am I struggling? And so it bores down. And so those typically will go 8 months, 9 months to complete that class.
How often is someone coming in going, okay, I'm coming in for this thing, and then they start going through the process and they're like, oh, no, it might be, and it changes? Or
I would say 80%.
Really?
Absolutely. They'll come in and may have a chemical addiction, but it's birthed out of a pain when they were a child, of abandonment or fear of rejection. And that was just their way to cope. I would say, and it's interesting, on celebration night, you may see somebody pick up, we give coins out, and they may pick up 3 coins because they started out with this, but then understand, well, part of the problem is I got anger problems, or I may have codependency that overlapped. And so,
So coping is that, I assume that's a big theme that y'all are seeing. And so they're really drilling it down into the underlying issue. And so the 12 steps, that's part of what they're helping uncover and process.
Absolutely.
The exact identifying that part.
One of the big components of that 12 step is number 4, where it's called the Fearless Moral Inventory, because you have to be truthful and honest with yourself. And you go back, you try to pinpoint maybe persons or events or places that wounded you, and what was the cause and what was the effect and what's my part. Now, in the case of abuse, they didn't have a part in what happened.
Sure.
But they have a part in what they do as an adult now in response to that hurt.
Yeah.
And so it's just a process of how we can do.
Yeah.
And part of toward the end of that 12 step is step number 9 is forgiveness and making amends. But it's interesting that it's toward the end of the 12 steps. And often I'll get a call that says, Alan, when is my husband, when is my daughter, when is my son going to tell me they're sorry? I mean, I'm ready. And typically what I tell them is not up front. I don't want them to give an apology because they got caught.
Yeah.
Or they're in trouble.
Or it's a check at the beginning of a program. Yeah.
I want them that when they do make amends and extend forgiveness or whatever to really mean it. So there's a purpose and a strategy for the 12 steps.
That's really neat. What themes do you see? We've talked about coping. Do you see other themes of what people are dealing with? Not necessarily topic specific, but just overall in what people are processing. I assume a lot of unforgiveness maybe. Like, are there other themes that you're seeing throughout?
And it it's cyclic. Sometimes some may hit stronger at different times.
Yeah.
What I'm seeing on the men's side, honestly, is sexual integrity that is absolutely blowing up marriages. But it's so taboo, nobody wants to talk about it. And it's embarrassing, it's humiliating. But we try to make Celebrate Recovery a safe place to come in and be real and be transparent. And I've seen one of the greatest jobs that I have is, yes, I see a lot of brokenness, but I see a lot of miracles too. I see people's lives be put back together, marriages put back together, and it's remarkable. So I see cool. that. On the women's side, domestic violence and I would say mental health are big right now. And so it, again, gives them a safe place to come. And that's one of the things too I'd like to just touch on for those that may be listening to this is one of our strong points and one of the things that we really want to protect is somebody's safety and their confidentiality. And so when they come in, if they have children, they check the children in. The children gets tags, and the parent will get a tag, and the only person that can get the child out is the one with that tag. And but we want to make sure that they're safe, that they can come in and be safe and feel at home and build community.
So I want to go back to the sexual integrity part because my husband and I personally, like, we think that's such a big deal, especially in the church.
Right.
We just don't talk about it.
Don't talk about it.
We're raising 3 teenage boys. Not that it's just a guy thing, but it's definitely something big in our world. Pornography, even how our world addresses, purity and sexuality and all of that in the world. And I wish we talked about it more. And from a female perspective and a wife perspective, I feel like a lot of females can feel like they're alone in a marriage that may have any array of any of those topics. And so therefore we're not all, dealing with it. But then you also have, if I were better, or, what it's doing to the other spouse. Yes. Like, if you have a husband turning to pornography or whatever, it's just a whole thing that
it's a big thing.
I feel like it's way rampant.
Yeah.
It's a huge ordeal in our world and in the church.
Absolutely.
That we're just not talking about.
Statistically, it's about the same.
Yeah, now, it's not like
there's a couple of things here I want to hit on.
Yeah.
One is we started the sexual integrity group for men because it was a hot topic and we were going to address it. It's one of my largest groups on the men's side. In fact, we have overflow sometimes because the numbers get. But then I had ladies coming up to me going, "What about me?
Right?
My husband is this person."
Yeah.
And I don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
And so we started on the women's side a betrayal group for women where they can come in and just find community and find support and encouragement. And then also the cool thing, we haven't really discussed this, is Monday night and Thursday nights. There's a place for everybody.
Right.
And so a lot of what I heard with particularly the men is, I wish I had a place to go when I was younger.
Yeah.
But we don't talk about this.
Right.
And so we have what we call the landing on Monday nights, and it's for students grade 7 through 12.
Okay.
And they go through the same steps that the
Really?
adults do.
Oh, that's good.
So we're just trying to give them some tools to work with before they fall into the trap.
And it's at the same time,
Time.
as the adults
Yes.
are doing their group?
And then we have celebration place that's literally from birth through grade 6. They have curriculum that they go through.
Neat.
It's obviously on their level, but literally on Mondays and Thursdays, there's a place for everybody.
So earlier we were talking about when you first got here and you're kind of setting up this program, you were making contacts with a lot of people. So let's talk about the web that this has, not only with court systems or nonprofits, and how it all kind of relates. Like how do people come to you and vice versa?
I took about 9 to 10 months to really get my feet on the ground. Again, one of our goals at the church, we didn't want to be a church in the community. We wanted to be a church for the community. And we wanted it to be that if Celebrate Recovery were to leave the community, it would be felt. And so when I came in, when we moved 2 weeks later and came into Waxahachie, I just started meeting with judges. I met with therapists. I met with CPS. I met with probation officers. I met with bail bondsmen, and just said, I'm here and I want to help people. And so we have referrals from the court systems and then from CPS. And there's a way that we can track them very discreetly. Is they can come in and there's a computer that they can go to and enter, and it'll track their attendance. And if they have to go to court or if you have a service plan with an organization, they can call me and we'll print it out for them and they'll have that.
That's great. And so then we have, so CPS, you'll have, maybe the parents that are struggling with keeping their child, or they might need to do certain things. So you have that side, they're coming. And then the court system, which obviously could be an array of reasons that they're in that situation. And so they're ordering part of their program afterwards to come to y'all. Is that right?
Yes.
And then we have nonprofits. As soon as you mentioned like the domestic violence group, I thought about the Heights. We have so many nonprofits that I want to make sure they all know about, CR in general, because to me it's a whole ecosystem.
It sure is.
That everybody should be
a lot
working
of reciprocated
together.
services there.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
It sounds like you have over 13 years, right?
13 and a
probably
half.
So many experiences.
A lot of stories.
Yeah. So what keeps you going, first of all? And does anything stand out for you to keep going on the day-to-day?
People that come to my recovery, they're my heroes because not everybody can do it.
Yeah.
There's work involved.
Yeah.
But again, one of the blessings of what I do is seeing life change.
Yeah.
And we just had a gentleman that just shared his story this past Monday. Came in just absolutely broken. He and his wife had separated. He had sexual integrity issues, and he came in. And when he came in, he was bought in. And he was going to do the work. And he's been with me now for 4 years. Their family has reunited. He's restored relationships with his kids because they were absolutely upset with him.
Yeah.
But then the beauty is, like step 12, you can't keep what you don't give away. So about a year ago, I got a call from a family in Arkansas, and they had a son that had really gotten off into pornography. He was being extorted, and just in a dark, dark place, he'd gotten off into the dark side of the web.
Yeah.
But anyway, they wanted me to come and do an intervention with him, which I'll do. And so, but the first call I made was to this gentleman and said, hey, can you go with me?
Oh, that's
because
so
his
cool.
life had changed so much that I knew that this man in Arkansas would relate with my guy.
Yeah.
And so we went together, and just riding in that car, thinking, my gosh,
full circle.
Yes, 4 years, and I've got a miracle sitting by me in my car. And so it's about giving back.
Wow.
You know, don't keep this to yourself, but give back.
That's so cool. Yes, I do love it when people have a story, they have a testimony and a journey. Every time they say it again, every time they tell it to somebody else, like the ripple effect of where it goes. And if we're keeping that in, you know,
we're cheating somebody else.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. How did the intervention go?
Not well.
Okay.
Honestly, because again, step one in recovery is stepping out of denial.
Yeah.
And you know, and one of the difficult things that I had to learn is I can't make anybody recover.
Yeah.
They have to be willing to do the work. Now, I used to say, Anna, and I've changed my mind. I used to say, until a person wants recovery, they'll never get it. But I think at the core of everybody that's broken, has issues, they want to be better.
Yeah.
They want to stop drinking, or they want to stop drugging, or not be as anxious. They want it, but they don't want to do the work. And so the situation with the person in Arkansas, they didn't want to do the work.
Interesting.
And
so you're saying that they want it, but they're not willing to take the steps yet to go through the process.
Yeah, they don't want the process. They want the outcome, but they just don't want the process.
I mean, I would love to be 20 pounds lighter, but you know, so I get it. So.
Yeah, it's hard. It's difficult.
Yeah, I do think that's something I've learned a lot working with Unite and just with people in general. Like you're saying, you cannot force it on people. No. They do have to be in that spot to go through the motions and the process and everything. And until they're there, you just, I used to get really upset by it, you know, just like, don't you know, you know,
snap out of it.
It can be so great. Yeah. And
my wife always says, why don't they just stop?
Yeah,
it's not that easy. Yeah. It's not that easy.
I know,
and that's why I respect them so much, because they are doing the work.
Yeah, that's really good.
But one of the things that kind of gets me too, and we may want to close with this, is I was having coffee. I like to sit with my people and get their stories, because I can help them more if I know their story, their journey. But I was having coffee with a guy in the community, and was not a participant in my group. He was just curious about my group. And he kept saying, I'm glad you work with those people. I'm glad you work with those people. And I went, whoa, tap the brakes. Yeah. I am one of those people. Yeah, we're all those people. And you're one of those people. And I just want, through Celebrate Recovery, to be a tool for the community and the county. And oddly enough, another one of the things that is unique, when I started Celebrate Recovery 13 and a half years ago, I would say 65% were members of our church, the congregation, and about 30 to 35% from the community. Over time, that has flipped.
Oh, cool.
And I would say that 65 to 70% of those that attend on Mondays and Thursdays have no affiliation with our church. Wow. They're coming from our county. And I love that. That's awesome. Because I want to make a difference in our county.
That's so great. Thank you so much for what you do. We need it in our county, and we all need the actual program ourselves anyways. So it's good for you to walk through with people on the relational side and all of that.
Yeah,
so
it's my pleasure.
Yeah, keep up the good work. We'll post all the information about Celebrate Recovery here in our county. If you're interested, you can reach out to Alan and we'll get that for you. And y'all have a great week. See you next time.